I just checked the news, and they said, it's story time with Uncle Scotty. Hey, it is story time with Uncle Scotty. I'm your host, Uncle Scotty. We have our own mugs. Hydration is important. Also important, washing our hands every second that we can think of. Hey, I'm like, when's the last time I washed my hands? I don't know. Probably do it now. Not a bad idea. Hey, if you want your own mug, don't forget to visit us on patreon.com, where you can check out things like mugs, handy bookmarks, and other little fun things if you enjoy Storytime with Uncle Scotty. Special thank you to our sponsors. Not one time, not two times, not just oregano, but also rosemary. Spicing up stories since 1444. What is a story? Time without time. It's just story. And who tells that story? No one. Thank you, Time, for making sure that we have time for our stories. Now, we are approaching the end of James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. And if you remember, we're going to do a live reading of the last two chapters of the book on Monday, April 6th. So if you're interested in that, pay attention to wherever you're watching this, and we'll let you know when that is. I think it's going to be at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And maybe if some folks on the East Coast want to join, we'll do 5 o'clock on the East Coast too. We'll see. Because you know what? Story time's for everyone. Not just me, I hope. All right. When we last left our friends, the Peach had arrived in New York City, New York, in America, all the way from London, England, overnight. I know. Wild. And the city of New York was starting to overreact to this arrival of the Peach. Let's see what happens next. Chapter 34. Come on, Centipede, bite through the first string, James ordered. The Centipede took one of the silk strings between his teeth and bit through it. And once again, but not with an angry cloud man dangling at the end of the string this time. Remember when that happened? A single seagull came away from the rest of the flock and went flying off on its own. Also, just want to point out that James is not really thinking about these seagulls very much. You know what I mean? These seagulls are from England. He's just letting them fly wherever they want to. They flew a long way. Now this seagull doesn't have a home anymore. Has to make a new home in New York City. I guess not too bad. There's other birds there. Pigeons, I suppose. Bite another, James ordered. The centipede bit through another string. Why aren't we sinking? We are sinking. No, we're not. Hey, don't forget, the Peach is a lot lighter now than when we started out, James told them. It lost an awful lot of juice when all those hailstones hit it in the night. Cut away 2 more seagulls, Centipede. He did so. Ah, that's better. Here we go. Now we really are sinking. Yes, this is perfect. Don't bite any more, Centipede, or we'll sink too fast. Gently does it. Slowly, the great Peach began losing height, and the buildings and streets down below began coming closer and closer. Do you think we'll all get our pictures in the papers when we get down? The ladybug asked. My goodness, I've forgotten to polish my boots, the centipede said. Everyone must help me polish my boots before we arrive. Oh, for heaven's sake, said the earthworm. Can't you ever stop thinking about... But he never finished his sentence, for suddenly, whoosh! They looked up and saw a huge 4-engine plane come shooting out of a nearby cloud and go whizzing past them not more than 20 feet over their heads. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane coming into New York from Chicago. And as it went by, it sliced right through every single one of the silken strings, and immediately the seagulls broke away. And the enormous Peach, having nothing to hold it up in the air any longer, went tumbling down towards the earth like a lump of lead. Help! Cried the centipede. Save us! Cried Miss Spider. We are lost! Cried the ladybug. This is the end! Cried the old green grasshopper. James! Cried the earthworm. Do something, James! Quickly do something! I can't! Cried James. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Shut your eyes, everybody. It won't be long now. Shall we do one more? We'll do one more. Chapter 35. Round and round and upside down went the Peach as it plummeted towards the earth, and they were all clinging desperately to the stem to save themselves from being flung into space. Faster and faster it fell. Down and down and down, racing closer and closer to the houses and streets below, where it would surely smash into a million pieces when it hit. And all the way along Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue and all the other streets in the city, people who had not yet reached the underground shelters looked up and saw it coming, and they stopped running and stood there staring in a sort of stupor at what they thought was the biggest bomb in the world falling out of the sky onto their heads. A few women screamed. Others knelt down on the sidewalks and began praying aloud. Strong men turned to one another and said things like, "I guess this is it, Joe," and "Goodbye, everybody, goodbye." And for the next 30 seconds, the whole city held its breath, waiting for the end to come. And we'll have to find out what happens next. Next time on Storytime with Uncle Scotty. I just want to mention two things. First thing has two parts. First part, he says all the way along Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue. So Fifth Avenue is like one of the busiest streets in New York City. It's like all the businesses are there, people are there shopping, all the businessmen are there doing all their business, and the business women are there doing all their business, and everybody's handling everything, and it's like very busy all the time. And Madison Avenue is just like that. These are two very famous big streets in New York City. And so they're very full of people, and all the people who are standing there, it says, this is the second thing, in a great stupor. Stupor is like being frozen with shock and fear, like, that was me stupefied in a stupor. And we're gonna have to find out what happens next. Next time on Storytime with Uncle Scotty. I've been your esteemed host. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining. Don't forget, if you want your own mug, bookmark, maybe some commissioned story time, visit patreon.com. Otherwise, thank you to our sponsors, time and time again. Also, rosemary and oregano, keeping stories flavorful since 1442. All right, thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. We are so close to the end. It's pretty exciting. Bye.